All right, we are about to jump into an ancient story that seriously has it all. I'm talking about a massive war, a super high stakes kidnapping, and then this single choice that tells you everything you need to know about a person's character. This is the story of Abram's War, and it's a rescue mission against what seems like impossible odds. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First up, we've got the War of Nine Kings. That's what really sets the stage. Then we'll see how Abram's own nephew gets caught right in the middle of it all. After that, Abram's totally daring rescue mission. And we'll wrap it up with the two kings and two choices he's faced with when the fighting is over. All right, so our story doesn't actually kick off with just one guy. Nope. It starts on this much bigger scale with this huge power struggle between 9 different kings. You gotta understand, this regional war is the backdrop for everything that's about to happen. So this whole conflict didn't just pop up overnight. It had been simmering, for over a decade. Picture this. For 12 long years, 5 local kings are basically serving this powerful foreign ruler, a guy named Chedorlaomer. But then, in year 13, they've had enough. They rebel. They want their independence. Well, by the 14th year, Chedorlaomer's patience is completely gone. He gets his allies together and marches off to war to just crush this rebellion once and for all. Okay, so here's a look at the two sides squaring off. In one corner, you've got the invading alliance. This is the big, powerful force led by that guy, Chedorlaomer of Elam, and his 3 buddies. And in the other corner, you have the rebel alliance. That's a group of 5 local kings, and one of them is Bera, the king of Sodom. So it's 4 kings against 5, and this thing blows up into a major regional war. And the rebellion fails. Yeah, even with more kings on their side, they get absolutely crushed. Chedorlaomer's invading alliance is totally victorious. They beat the 5 local kings, and, as was the custom back then, the winners go on to sack the cities of the losers. And this is the moment. This is where this huge, seemingly distant war suddenly becomes intensely personal for our main character, Abram. So you can just imagine the scene, right? This is that critical turning point. The winners, they aren't just having a victory parade. No, they're plundering. They start taking everything and everyone of value from the defeated cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, they grab all the food, all the supplies, all the valuables, anything they can get their hands on. The cities are just left completely stripped bare. And here's what makes it so personal for Abram. Among all the people they captured is Lot, Abram's own nephew, who happened to be living in Sodom. Just like that, in an instant. This isn't some distant war anymore, it's a family crisis. So when a survivor manages to get to Abram and tell him the news, he doesn't waste a second. He doesn't negotiate, he doesn't sit around in despair. Nope, he immediately launches what has to be one of the most daring and unlikely rescue missions in history. 318. That's it. That's the number of men Abram pulls together. And get this, these are professional soldiers. They're guys from his own household, trained by him. And with this tiny band, he's going after a professional army that just defeated 5 other kings. The odds are just staggering. But Abram has a plan, and it's pretty brilliant in how simple and bold it is. Okay, so first, he chases the army all the way north to a place called Dan. Then, and this is the key, he waits for nightfall. He divides his small force to attack from multiple sides at once. It's a total surprise attack. He's not banking on numbers, he's banking on speed and pure shock value. And believe it or not, against all odds, it works. The whole plan is a complete success. Abram's small group actually routs the bigger army. And he doesn't just rescue his nephew Lot, he gets back all the other people and all the stuff that had been stolen. So Abram returns as a total hero, right? The fighting is over, he's won. But now he's got to face a totally different kind of challenge. You could call it a moral test, a spiritual test, and it's the thing that's really going to define his character. As soon as he gets back, Abram is met by 2 kings, and they each represent a very different path. First, there's Melchizedek. He's a priest and a king. He offers Abram bread, wine, and a blessing, something that represents divine honor. But then you have the king of Sodom, the same guy Abram just rescued, and he offers exactly what you'd expect. All the stuff, all the material wealth, all the spoils of war. And Abram's response here is just so powerful. It's an absolute no. He refuses everything. He says he won't even take a thread or a shoelace. He's drawing a line in the sand, making it totally clear that he won't let any person ever say, "I'm the one who made Abram rich." For him, this is all about protecting his integrity. So what can we take away from this whole incredible story? Well, for one, that real leadership is about taking decisive action, not just having a title. For another, loyalty to your family can inspire some serious courage. But I think the biggest lesson here is that integrity, well, it's worth more than all the spoils of war combined. Abram really shows us that your true wealth isn't about what you have, it's about the choices you make. And that really leaves us with one last question to think about, doesn't it? When Abram turned down a king's fortune, he was making a huge statement about what he valued. So, what kind of wealth was he truly looking for? I think it's that question, about what's really valuable that makes this story still hit so hard, even thousands of years later.